Machiavelli's advice for nice guys. Why do good men so often lose, while cunning men rise? Today, we uncover a brutal truth. It is not enough to be kind. You must learn how to wield power, or be crushed by those who do. The problem: why nice guys finish last. In a world where strength often masquerades as virtue, the man who prides himself solely on his goodness is doomed to be overlooked, exploited, and forgotten. The illusion that kindness alone guarantees loyalty or reward is one of the greatest lies fed to those who wish to be liked. The truth is harsher. People respect power before morality, and they follow strength before compassion. A man who believes that being perpetually agreeable will earn him honor misunderstands the nature of human ambition. Most individuals act from self-interest, weighing interactions not by how kind someone is, but by what value or influence they can provide. When kindness is unconditional, constant, and predictable, it loses its value entirely. It becomes invisible, a background noise of politeness that no one feels compelled to reciprocate. Instead, it signals to others that such a man can be taken advantage of without consequence. History is littered with examples of those who confused virtue with weakness. Leaders who tried to govern with fairness alone found their authority challenged by rivals who understood the value of fear, respect, and decisive action. In personal life, the pattern mirrors this same principle. The man who consistently sacrifices his own interests to please others is not seen as noble. He is seen as expendable. His efforts become expectations, and expectations soon become demands. What once appeared generous is quickly regarded as obligation, and obligation rarely inspires gratitude. Moreover, society rewards those who project confidence, control, and the ability to impose boundaries, not those who endlessly yield to avoid confrontation. It is a cruel irony that the more a man seeks universal approval, the more invisible he becomes in the eyes of those whose recognition he craves. People instinctively test the limits of others. If they find no resistance, they press further, assuming the one who never pushes back lacks the will to protect his own interests. In such a dynamic, kindness is no longer a virtue. It is a vulnerability. The world is not governed by fairness. It is governed by perception. Appear weak, and strength will be used against you. Appear soft, and hardness will crush you. Nice guys often mistake politeness for strategy, believing that winning hearts is the same as winning influence. But affection without leverage is hollow. The one who is liked but not respected will eventually be discarded when his usefulness runs out, replaced by someone who understands the balance of charm and authority. Being good is not the problem. Believing that goodness alone is enough is the problem. True strength lies in understanding when to display virtue and when to display firmness. Yet, most who call themselves nice never learn this balance. They place morality on a pedestal, worshipping it as if the world plays by the same rules. But morality to the ambitious is a tool, a weapon to wield against those who naively think it protects them. Perception vs. reality. Power is rarely about what one truly possesses. It is about what others believe one possesses. The difference between how the world sees a man and who he truly is becomes the battlefield, where victories are won or lost. Those who cling to honesty as their sole defense fail to understand that influence is built not upon reality, but upon carefully constructed appearances. People do not peer into the soul to judge character. They read signs, gestures, and outcomes. They measure strength by what they witness: decisive action, unshakable composure, and the ability to command a room, not by unseen virtues or private intentions. A man may be wise, yet if he appears timid, he will be dismissed as weak. Another may be a fraud, yet if he projects confidence, others will believe in his authority. Such is the cruel nature of human judgment. It favors spectacle over substance, appearance over essence. To navigate this world, one must learn to control the image others perceive. To appear virtuous is often more valuable than to be virtuous. The appearance of generosity can secure loyalty, even if the acts themselves are calculated. The appearance of mercy can soften resistance, even when one's motives remain cold and strategic. Yet, when generosity or mercy are displayed without measure, they no longer inspire loyalty. They invite expectation, and expectation becomes a chain that binds the giver to obligations he never intended. Perception also shapes how power is distributed. People instinctively rally around those who seem to hold control, regardless of whether that control is real or imagined. In conflict, hesitation breeds doubt, and doubt is fatal. The one who moves decisively appears strong, and strength draws followers. Conversely, the one who hesitates, waiting for fairness to guide decisions, will appear weak and lose influence, even if his judgment is sound. Thus reality, his actual capability, becomes irrelevant. All that matters is what others believe they see. This is why the man who relies solely on his good heart to win loyalty fails. A good heart cannot be seen, it cannot be measured, and it cannot be proven in the moment when influence must be asserted. People assume intentions they do not witness. If they see kindness without authority, they assume weakness. If they see authority without cruelty, they assume control. The balance between these appearances is delicate, yet it defines whether one will command respect or invite betrayal. To master perception is to master leverage. A man must learn when to project warmth and when to project indifference, when to appear approachable and when to appear untouchable. He must know how to craft an image that inspires confidence in allies and hesitation in adversaries, even if neither fully reflects his true nature. Reality may dictate what a man can do, but perception determines what others believe he will do, and belief alone often dictates outcomes. Strategic keenness, not blind keenness. Keenness is not a universal virtue. It is a currency that must be spent wisely. To offer it freely without measure is to devalue it until it is worth nothing. Men who give endlessly, who sacrifice without expectation, and who pour themselves out in hopes of earning affection, inevitably discover that the world rewards them not with gratitude, but with indifference. The reason is simple. What is given without limit loses its power to inspire loyalty or respect. The art lies in making kindness rare, intentional, and precise. When generosity is displayed sparingly and strategically, it carries weight. It creates a sense of obligation in those who receive it, for they understand that such favor was not guaranteed, that it could have been withheld, and therefore must be repaid. But when kindness flows endlessly, it becomes background noise, a constant that no one values, like air breathed without thought. Those who practice blind kindness assume that others will recognize their good intentions and reward them accordingly. Yet, human nature works differently. People value what benefits them, and they measure value by scarcity and cost. If a man offers his time, his effort, or his loyalty without condition, others begin to see it as his natural duty rather than a deliberate act. They stop acknowledging it, stop respecting it, and eventually stop seeing the man himself. He becomes invisible, his kindness assumed, his efforts unnoticed. Strategic kindness, on the other hand, transforms relationships. It teaches others that a man is generous because he chooses to be, not because he must be. It creates a subtle awareness that kindness from him is meaningful precisely because it is not endless. Such awareness fosters loyalty, not because people are inherently grateful, but because they recognize value in what is not freely given to all. Moreover, kindness can be a weapon as much as a shield. When offered selectively, it can forge alliances, soften adversaries, and build influence where authority alone would fail. Yet, it must always be paired with the ability to withdraw, to say no, to remind others that this favor is a privilege, not a right. This dual capacity, to grant and to deny, creates an aura of control, showing others that the man is not ruled by sentiment, but by judgment. Blind kindness carries another danger. It reveals too much about a man's character. Those who are always giving, always accommodating, expose their deepest fear, the fear of being disliked. And once others sense this fear, they exploit it. They learn that displeasure alone can manipulate the man, that his desire to maintain harmony will make him surrender his own interests. Strategic kindness shields against this by blending generosity with unpredictability. No one can exploit what they cannot anticipate. Therefore, the man who wishes to maintain respect must treat kindness not as a habit, but as a calculated move, measured, timely, and rare enough to command appreciation. Blind kindness pleases for a moment, but weakens in the long term. Strategic kindness, however, builds a reputation for power cloaked in benevolence, where every act of goodwill reinforces authority rather than undermines it. Power before affection. Affection is a fleeting sentiment, easily given, easily withdrawn, and often unreliable in moments of true consequence. Power, however, endures as the foundation upon which all loyalty, respect, and security are built. A man who pursues affection without first establishing power will find himself discarded at the first sign of weakness, for people are drawn not to those they merely like, but to those whose strength can protect or advance them. The desire to be liked is a dangerous indulgence. It tempts a man to compromise his principles, to yield his position, and to lower his guard, all in the hope of earning approval. Yet approval is the most fragile of currencies. It can be withdrawn the moment another proves more entertaining, more generous, or more useful. The one who is liked but not respected becomes a temporary amusement, a figure of convenience who is tolerated only until his presence no longer serves a purpose. Power, by contrast, creates an anchor. It commands attention, even from those who may dislike the one who holds it. A man who wields authority, who shows decisiveness and control, earns a form of loyalty that affection alone cannot secure. This loyalty may not always be rooted in admiration or friendship, but it is rooted in necessity, the recognition that following such a man provides safety, opportunity, or advantage. In the hierarchy of influence, necessity outweighs sentiment. Moreover, affection without power breeds betrayal. Those who rely solely on charm, generosity, or good nature to maintain relationships eventually learn that these bonds dissolve under pressure. When resources grow scarce, when competition rises, when loyalty is tested, people abandon the likable man in favor of the strong man. They may feel guilt, they may offer excuses, but they will not hesitate. For in moments of crisis, the question is never who is kindest, but who is most capable of ensuring survival and gain. Establishing power does not mean abandoning charm or compassion. These qualities can enhance influence, but they must rest upon a base of authority. When a man commands respect, his kindness carries weight. When he does not, it carries only risk. Similarly, when a man is feared for his strength, his moments of mercy appear as deliberate choices, magnifying their impact. But when a man has no strength to inspire fear or caution, his mercy appears as weakness, and weakness invites predation. The man who seeks affection above all else reveals that he fears rejection more than failure. Such fear is quickly recognized by others, who then learn how to manipulate him, using approval and withdrawal as tools to shape his behavior. He becomes a servant to their moods, a man who bends to avoid displeasure, rather than one who commands respect by holding firm. Power before affection reverses this dynamic. It teaches others that approval must be earned, not granted by default, and that loyalty must be built upon respect, not indulgence. Master the art of calculated ruthlessness in the pursuit of influence. There comes a moment when kindness fails, diplomacy reaches its limit, and hesitation becomes fatal. At such moments, only decisive and often harsh action can preserve authority. Yet ruthlessness, when applied without measure, descends into cruelty and chaos, destroying the very foundation of control it seeks to protect. The key lies in calculation, using severity not as a habit, but as a precise instrument to secure order, command respect, and eliminate threats before they fester. The greatest mistake of those who aspire to lead, or simply to maintain dignity in their dealings, is to believe that mercy will always be met with gratitude. Gratitude is a rare response. More often, mercy invites further demands. When a man forgives a transgression without consequence, he signals that boundaries may be crossed again. When he tolerates disrespect, he communicates that his authority is negotiable. Over time, this erodes his standing until even those who once deferred to him begin to see him as malleable, a figure who can be pushed aside when convenient. Calculated ruthlessness corrects this imbalance. It sends a clear message that while mercy may exist, it is not endless, that while kindness may be offered, it is conditional. This approach deters betrayal by ensuring that the cost of disloyalty far outweighs its potential gain. A single decisive action, swift, firm, and unapologetic, can secure a reputation that countless gestures of goodwill cannot. Once others understand that consequences are inevitable, they will think carefully before testing limits again. Yet ruthlessness cannot be reckless. Random displays of severity breed resentment and rebellion, undermining the very order they are meant to preserve. A man who punishes without reason or lashes out in fits of passion loses control of perception, and with it, control of his position. Instead, ruthlessness must be timed, deliberate, and always justifiable. Even if the justification is not spoken aloud, others must sense that such action was not born of cruelty but of necessity, that it served a purpose beyond the satisfaction of pride or ego. The power of calculated ruthlessness lies not only in action but in the anticipation it creates. When people believe a man is capable of decisive measures, they hesitate to provoke him. Fear of consequence becomes a silent enforcer, sparing him from needing to demonstrate severity often. Thus, the appearance of ruthlessness can sometimes achieve more than its actual use. But to sustain this appearance, one must prove, at least once, that the threat is not hollow. Furthermore, ruthlessness can serve to establish fairness, though not the soft fairness of indulgence. By punishing those who abuse kindness, exploit generosity, or undermine loyalty, a man reinforces a hierarchy where value is rewarded and treachery condemned. Those who witness such acts may not celebrate them openly, yet they will acknowledge, even respect, the discipline behind them. Quietly, they will understand that loyalty is not a matter of sentiment but of survival, and survival favors those who do not test the limits of the strong. Strength is not the absence of kindness, but the mastery of when and how to wield it. Those who rise above mediocrity understand that influence is crafted through perception, strategic action, and the courage to be firm when softness would invite ruin. The world does not reward blind virtue. It rewards those who blend principle with power, generosity with caution, and mercy with decisive authority. If this glimpse into the laws of influence has stirred your ambition, subscribe now. More lessons await. Stories of strategy, survival, and mastery, crafted to sharpen your mind and elevate your game.